Hi, my name is Chirag Agarwal, and I'm here to talk more about Alzheimer's disease. So let's go and let's learn about Alzheimer's disease.
So first, we have these dendrites. So dendrites are where the most receptors are located. So when information comes, the receptors receive those signals, and those dendrites, so those signals come here, right? And those signals are received by dendrites, as we said, and then it brings electric changes in the neuron, more specifically in the soma or the cell body. So those electric changes happen here in the soma, and it takes all the info from the dendrites that previously received the signal and it puts it in the axon hillock. So it comes here to the axon hillock, and then if the dendrite is properly sealed with the myelin sheath, as you can see here, then it can go right through this. It can go right through the axon. So this time of the reaction is called the action potential. So action potential travels down the axon, and then it reaches the axon terminal, which you can see in yellow. Or they could also be called the synaptic buttons. So when signal reaches the axon terminals, it can cause the release of a neurotransmitter, which was previously a signal. It can cause the release of this, and when neurotransmitter is released, it interacts with receptors of dendrite of the next neuron. So these are the next neurons in red. So basically that's what happens, and this passes on for thousands of neurons until your body reacts, and then you get a specific emotion or a feeling. So that's how we get and perceive information, process the information, and it comes right through our neurons, and that is the process.
So in a healthy brain, all sensations, thoughts, memories, feelings happen due to signals that pass through billions of neurons. And in a healthy brain, we have microglia and astrocytes. These two helpers are responsible for cleaning all the debris in our brain. So a person with Alzheimer's doesn't have these microglias, astrocytes, and even doesn't has a proper functioning neuron. So let's dig into what's Alzheimer's. So Alzheimer's could also be said as a memory loss, but there are two things that are involved, two proteins that are involved in Alzheimer's. First is beta-Amyloid, and second is tau. So first is that there's abnormal growth of tau in neurons, and then the tau grows in areas of brain associated with memory. It starts spreading from entorhinal cortex, and then to hippocampus, and then to frontal and temporal cortices. The beta-amyloid clumps into plaques between neurons. As amyloid forms into large clumps, it also results into formation of tau, and then tau and beta-amyloid form and cause the block between neurons and cause the block of neurons not being and signals not being going and moving through the myelin sheath and to other neurons. Which means it starts with aging. With people with more age definitely can get Alzheimer's. So what happens is that in our vascular, aka circulatory system, made of vessels that carry blood and lymph through the body, with age the vascular system may fail to deliver the blood and the lymph to brain, which is pretty bad because your brain needs the blood pumped to it, and it needs the blood in order to function and in order to get glucose to perform other activities such as memorizing and understanding things that you do every day. And then the result is basically, with a failed vascular system, you obviously get chronic inflammation, in which your part of the body gets heated, reddened, and swollen, and then you get microglial cells, which are really essential for a healthy functioning brain, dying, in your brain, and then neurons lose the ability to communicate. With neurons not being used right now, slowly the neurons also die because they're not getting used, and then your brain slowly shrinks. With your brain shrinking, the hippocampus also shrinks, and the hippocampus is really essential in your brain for memory, and it really helps in decision making and learning language. So with hippocampus just shrinking in Alzheimer's, it really results in memory loss and other things such as impaired decision making and language problems. So what are the solutions to solving Alzheimer's disease? First is there's advanced brain imaging. It allows to see the plaques of beta-Amyloid and tau in the living brain. Second is that there are blood and fluid biomarkers, which can give insight on how and when disease starts, and also used to understand the influence of genetics on Alzheimer's. And then there are more new therapies targeting tau and beta-Amyloid, therapies targeting vascular system, glucose metabolism, and to lower the inflammation around your brain.